Yeah, Grenada, Carrico, Petey Mondic, and the world. I'd like to welcome you to another Mikey Life program, people. This is where it all happens. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the Mikey. So many things to tell you about. It's Friday, but here's what. On Fridays, we try not keeping you too long. We know that you want to go and drink your beers, you want to go and drink your Coke, you want to go and drink your ting. Or you want to eat something, eat like a barbecue and thing like that. So we don't intend on keeping you for too long. Seriously, when I say that, I mean it. All right, folks, so let's get into what's making the headlines for tonight. Anderson Peters doing real things for himself. We'll tell you about it. PW President seeks legal redress citing victimization. Conference of Churches says that the SBAs should be marked. We'll tell you about that. Former Liat employee pleads guilty to stealing over $76,000. All right. And Liat could drop TNT route if funding is not given. Liat pilots also agree to salary cuts. And health officials are investigating adult male deaths in St. Lucia. Very interesting development there that we're going to be telling you about tonight. All right, folks. So we have a lot of things to tell you about housekeeping matters. We want to encourage you to share the program. You see, when you share the program, that's how other people get to know that we are live. Yes. I know twice for the week already, some people had difficulties in getting the program. You understand? So yeah, we fix up now, I think. Okay, so guys, go ahead and share the business. And so when we come back, it gonna be real news in all. Share the program, no man. When we come back, it gonna be real news in all Lily Lolo. So stay tuned. The headlines was brought to you through the kind compliments of Duty Free Caribbean and Colombian Emirates International and WPG10. Speaking of WPG10, we'd like to officially welcome the viewers on channels 10 and 11 cable TV, WPG10. Stay tuned, we'll be back.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
And so it begins, a journey like no other. Jungles so lush, they make emeralds jealous. Water that sparkles like diamonds. Mountains with more facets than precious gems. This is where good times are had, where love is strengthened, where memories are formed. And when it all comes to an end, bring home something that will never fade. Colombian Emeralds International. Bring home more than a memory.
Trying to get fit for 2019? Then start your journey to fitness with Quartz. Buy any Marcy or Land Ranger gym equipment for $4.99 and over from now until March 31st and enter for your chance to win your purchase free. Shop now and pay nothing until Easter 2019. Your journey to fitness begins with Quartz. Visit us today for your gym equipment and enter to win. Quartz, bringing value home.
On Saturday, 6 April, the National Stadium comes alive with the grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. St. Andrew Big Parish Stars versus St. Mark Western Stars. And from 9 p.m, defending champions St. Patrick Crown City Strikers versus St. John Dolphins. Experience pure football, pure class. Then after the games, we move stateside for the top 3 artists in the International Groovy Monarch from Trinidad. Groovy King Swappy from St. Lucia with his man Teddy St. John and the Grenadian Golden Boy Vaughn. Also featuring the band Solid and Pappy Boy. Admission $25 main stand, $20 bleachers. The grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. Get into the game.
Yes, so we are into the game, folks, and we are ready for you. Welcome again to another Mikey Live program. I think that we are now really ready to go. So the first thing that we have to tell all you about, boys, the Grenada national under-16 netball team will get the ball rolling tonight. Now the Spice Girls will come up against Barbados in their first encounter in the Caribbean Netball Association's 19th Jean Pair Youth Under-16 Netball Championship. Now kickoff time is 7:15, or was 7:15 in fact, and the championship commenced yesterday and it runs until April. All right, that's April 5th in Antigua and Barbuda. Now over the past weeks, the under-16 team has been preparing to compete against the likes of Antigua and Barbuda, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Bermuda, Dominica, and St. Lucia. We wish them all the best. The Royal Grenada Police Force will be conducting live ammunition training at the Pearls Airstrip Camp Raymond Pearls, St. Andrew, and that will be happening on Saturday, 30th March 2019. That will happen between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Now, the Royal Grenada Police Force solicits the support and the cooperation of the general public, and in particular, members of the surrounding communities. The following are the results from matches played on Thursday, 28th March in the GCIC Windball Cricket Competition. Mount Cinnamon played against Airport Authority, 124 Mount Cinnamon for 7 in 15 overs, and then the Airport Authority scored 128, so they won that match for the loss of 3 wickets in fact in 10 overs. Then we had Communal Cooperative Credit Union. They come up against La Luna. Communal made 225 for 4 in 15 overs, and La Luna won 23 for 8 in 15 overs. All right, so that was won by the Communal. And then we had the SGU Knights. They came up against Clarkscourt. Clarkscourt scored 127 for 6 in 15 overs, and then the SGU Knights made 173 for 8 in 15 overs. Good. Now, just before we came on the program, we got a bit of news about Anderson Peters. Now, it was just yesterday we were telling you he was named National Sportsman of the Week, something to that effect, right? In the US. Now he is adding a little thing to that. Well, not no little thing, no big thing to that. All right, just coming on the program, we learned that Anderson Peters, Mississippi State, threw a world-leading 86.07 meters in the men's javelin throw. All right, at the Clyde Littlefield, Texas relays on Friday. Now, his effort, which is also a national record, surpasses the one-day-old mark of 83.30 meters by Taiwan's Chao Tsun Sheng. All right. And so Michael Bascom. Folks, give him a clap, no man. Give him Anderson. Whoa, yo, yo. I'll put something on the program for the man to feel appreciated. Imagine the man watching the program, you know, you want to know that, all appreciate him and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Yes, boy. So earlier, Anderson Peters, and you know, yesterday he was saying that it showed that his pre-season training is working for him. And so he was wishing that he could have done better even. All right, and so said, so done. The man knew what he was saying. Anderson planning thing, man. All you. So you know, yes, good. Anderson is really doing things for himself, and not just himself, but the country and his school. All you. One of the other things that I have to tell. Hold on. Let me just load on that here. All right. One of the other things that we have to tell all you, boy. Yesterday we were telling you about a press release from the President Lydon Lewis. That's the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers, and he was talking about the walk to rule. All right, and so folks, here's what he was reminding teachers and principals and so on of their commitment to the walk to rule, reminding them that hey, nothing has changed, and so that the SBAs and stuff like that should be sent. All right, the hard copies and so on should be sent to the ministry to be corrected and so on and so forth. Now, today, we've received a circulation. It says it comes from the Conference of Churches in Grenada. Now, I must add that I have not received this statement directly from the Conference of Churches, but I received it from a source, you know, and it says that this is the Conference of Churches, the CCG statement on GUT's reminder to members on SBA and CPEA marking. It says here, we have noted with deep concern the recent statement of the Grenada Union of Teachers reminding its members of the work to rule, and including in that work to rule that school-based assessments for primary and secondary schools should not be marked but sent directly to the Ministry of Education. Now, these examinations are an essential part of the education process in our nation. It seems to us that if the teaching of grade 6 and Form 5 is part of the ordinary curriculum of our school activity, the examinations are equally part of the ordinary curriculum and should not be subject to a work to rule. The union seems to leave it open to teachers and principals to do as they see fit in this matter. All right. We earnestly appeal to all teachers and the principals to ensure that marking of all school-based work and to send the results to the relevant authority. The passing of papers to the ministry leaves the process open to actions which may well harm some of our children, especially the children of the poor. It may also mean that the results will not reflect the hard work that the teacher themselves will have done. And it goes on and on and on. We'll post it on our page, all right? All right, it says that it's almost done, so let me just continue. Those of us who have already received our education should not in any way impede the process of our children in their own educational journey. It says that trusting that the GUT will respond positively to our appeal, we ask that both sides move even more diligently to the resolution of the still outstanding issues. We remain open to assist in the resolution of these matters which continue to seriously affect our nation. All right, and it goes on. You know, it says for further information who you could check and stuff like that. So that's the position of the Grenada Conference of Churches. You know, you know, I was reluctant to say this, but I would say it anyway because you know, I believe in fair comment. I also believe that you know, I must be consistent. All right, and I must say this, that I probably would understand the intention of the Conference of Churches, but I don't think I am very uncomfortable with the angle of the press release. I'm very uncomfortable. It seemed like the church is getting involved in politics. To me, you know, I could be wrong, and I understand what they are trying to achieve, but was it done in the best manner? That's left to people's judgment. But personally, I feel a bit uncomfortable with the press release, and that's to say the least. Yeah. If this is a new precedent that the Conference of Churches is setting, because they now have a new bishop in the person of Clyde and so on, and so they are becoming a little more vocal, a little more involved in social matters, then okay. But based on the history of the Conference of Churches and what they spoke to and didn't, one would say that, you know, a press release like this on this particular subject is kind of like inconsistent with the expectation of the Conference of Churches. And I mean no disrespect. It's just fair comment. You know, I comment about everything else, and I don't think that a press release from the Conference of Churches is immune to seem like every other story gets, you know. That's just my humble opinion. All right, so yeah. We're moving on. The Public Workers Union president seeks legal redress, citing victimization. And folks, we want to welcome you all to the In the Papers segment on the program. And this one comes from the Informer. Now, I would like to remind you that the In the Papers segment is a segment where we select stories, sometimes the headline stories from some of these papers, and then we tell you about it. Sometimes we read some of these. More often than not, we read these stories verbatim. All right? Good. So here it is. It says here that the president of the Grenada Public Workers Union, the PWU, Rachel Roberts, is seeking legal redress before the court, citing that her recent transfer from her substantive position as Senior Administrative Officer in the Ministry of Health to Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Officer, CAIPO, is a demotion and hinges squarely on victimization. Speaking to members of the media during a press conference on Monday, Roberts' attorney, former Attorney General Cadrington Hood, said the recent action by the Public Service Commission, the PSC, acting on behalf of the executive, has not only showed a total lack of respect for the union, its processes and negotiations, it's a slap in the face of the Constitution and freedom of association. Roberts, one of the most vocal union leaders in the ongoing industrial impasse, a situation that led to the salary deduction in December for public workers who took part in the industrial action and the ongoing work to rule protest action, now enforced by the Grenada Union of Teachers, was transferred from her post effective January 28, 2019, with no reason or grounds given to such action. Hood noted that Ms. Roberts was simply asked to assume duties at the Corporate Affairs and Intellectual Property Office, CAIPO, with no details of her duties at that department until further notice. Hood told the media that while the PSC has the power to remove someone from office, as was done in the case of Ms. Roberts, such actions must be reasonable, and therefore the replacement position should be of similar status. However, he said in Mrs. Roberts' case, she was instead demoted, singled out for discriminatory treatment, with the head of that department hinting that she has no idea what Miss Roberts' role is. All right, so folks, you can find that on the paper, okay? And we are moving on. One of the other stories in the papers speaks about one of the former employees of Liat who might have gotten himself in some sort of trouble. It says here that a former employee of the cash-strapped regional airline Liat, who pleaded guilty to stealing over $76,000 from the company, is expected to be sentenced on April 17th. He faces a maximum 84 years behind bars. Kyron Nichols, a resident of Tempe in St. George, former ticket agent with Liat here in Grenada, pleaded guilty on Tuesday before High Court Judge Madam Justice Paula Guilford to some 12 counts of stealing by reason of employment. He was represented in court by defense lawyer Arlie Gale. According to information reaching the Grenada Informer, Nichols was initially slapped with 33 counts of stealing. However, at the number 1 High Court on Tuesday, the charges were condensed to 12, spanning a period of 10 months from February 2008 to November of that same year. The charges read at the court on Tuesday varied among different amounts allegedly stolen at different times. For instance, on the 29th of February 2008, one of the charges listed an amount in the sum of $481.71. In March of the same year, another charge listed an amount of $5,989.01. In June of 2008, another charge in the amount of $10,131.56. The 11th of September 2008, a charge in the amount of $11,173.82. And the list goes on until 5th November with a charge in the amount of $111.27, 12 charges totaling $76,000. According to the papers, Nichols was granted bail in the sum of $200,000 with 2 sureties. He is expected to surrender all travel documents and report to the Central Police Station every Monday, Wednesday and Friday between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. With a possible 7 years on each count, Nichols faces a maximum 84 years in prison, although his lawyer is expected to make a strong plea for leniency given the matter is of some vintage. Nevertheless, whatever is said, the final decision remains in the hands of the High Court Judge, Justice Guilford. All right, and that's one of the headline stories on the papers. The next story that we need to tell you about, boy, as we are talking about Liat, is again Liat. Now, this one, very interesting. It says here that Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, has hinted that the Leeward Islands Air Transport Liat could drop Trinidad and Tobago from its schedule of routes as the airline seeks to restructure amid financial burdens. Dr. Gonsalves, who is also the CARICOM lead among heads of government for transport, maritime and aviation, made the comment during an interview with We FM in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Now, Liat is seeking an injection of US $5.4 million to help keep the airlines in disguise, and the matter has been taken to CARICOM for assistance. Dr. Gonsalves said that so far only Grenada has responded positively. He says, and I quote, "The other governments of the Caribbean, only Grenada has said they will come about to provide some emergency funding, and nobody else," Dr. Gonsalves said. He added, "Everybody is saying they agree theoretically for a minimum guarantee for the routes, but they have not responded positively, only Grenada alone." The minimum revenue guarantee, the MRG, would represent funding by individual countries to ensure that Liat continues to fly to their destinations. St. Vincent and the Grenadines currently accounts for 52 Liat flights per week, Barbados 116 flights, and Antigua 69 flights. St. Lucia has flights with an average load factor of 46%, while Trinidad has a 38% load factor. Dr. Gonsalves said that these low load factors mean that if St. Lucia and Trinidad and Tobago do not engage in the minimum revenue guarantees, it might be more effective to drop the routes instead of having the stakeholder governments bear the burden of the airline flying to these countries. The airline is owned by 7 Caribbean governments, with the 4 major stakeholders being Barbados, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Dominica. All right, how are we looking? We have a few more things to tell you about. I don't want to keep you long. I told you we were not going to do that. All right. Now the next thing that we have to tell you about, boy, it's been circulated that the pilots were asked to take a haircut. In other words, they were asked to take a cut in salary, and they said no gusso. So we have an update on that for you. Now, pilots employed with the cash-strapped regional airline Liat today, according to reports, confirmed that they have agreed to a less than 10% salary cut in a bid to keep the airlines in the air. All right, so then we had the president of the Leeward Islands Airline Pilots Association, Carl Burke. They told the Caribbean Media Association, our corporation, that while he was not at liberty to disclose the exact amount the pilots had agreed to, pending the Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados receiving the necessary communication, he was nonetheless indicating that it was not the 10% that they had requested. All right, so it's just a little less than the requested amount. Right, how are we looking for time? I ain't keeping all along tonight, I swear. I might be done in the next 10 minutes. I love it. You could get to go and drink your Coke and thing. Now, here's what. There have been a series of deaths, okay? And health officials in St. Lucia, health officials in St. Lucia, they are sending out urgent appeal to men all right, to men in that country to check their health. They say that they are sending out an urgent appeal to the adult male population to seek immediate medical attention if they experience symptoms that include fever, headache, joint and muscle pain, cough, and shortness of breath, and you know, all these sort of things. They are getting deaths that just are unexplained. You understand? And so we want to go to St. Lucia for that story.
While the entire population should be on guard for flu-like symptoms, the island's chief medical officer is making a special appeal to adult males to seek medical care early. Dr. Merlin Fredericks James wants men to be on guard for symptoms that include fever, headaches, joint and muscle pains, cough, shortness of breath, and weakness. Her words of caution come as the Health Ministry, with the support of regional health bodies, investigates a few deaths in adult males during the month of March.
In some cases, persons had underlying medical conditions, and we do know that when persons are suffering from other medical conditions, such as diabetes or cancer or other chronic diseases, that their immune system can be lowered, and as such, a secondary infection from the flu or other can tip them over the edge. However, in 2 other cases, the males had no history of any past medical illness, and hence the reason why we're putting out this alert.
The chief medical officer says while health officials await test results, the key message to the adult male population is take no chances with your health.
At this point in time, we can't say definitively whether the persons died of flu or of dengue or leptospirosis or other chronic disease or other infectious disease. Hence the reason why we're asking persons to be on the alert. We should be reminded that we are currently experiencing a higher than normal number of flu cases as compared to other years. When we look at the particular point in time.
The health expert is reminding members of the public that there are ways to boost their defenses. She says while not fail-safe, they will provide buffers against the full impact of the virus.
The flu shot is available. Persons would know that there is a vaccine which can provide some protection against flu. It may not be 100%, but it would definitely reduce the likelihood that persons would develop more serious illness if they got infected with flu. So the flu vaccine is available free of charge at all wellness centers. We also have Tamiflu, which is one of the medications specifically geared towards treating cases of flu. Tamiflu is also available at all the public health facilities.
It's also important for people to practice cough etiquette.
Cover your cough. If you are to cough, it's best to cough in your elbow rather than in your hands, and ensure that hands are washed frequently, because flu viruses can survive on the outside. They can survive on counters and surfaces. So aside from taking the necessary precautions, because we know that the virus is airborne and it can be inhaled, to protect against flu viruses, hands should also be washed frequently.
Dr. Fredericks James says while the deceased adult male's symptoms appear to be respiratory, health officials are fully aware that there are illnesses that mimic the flu, including dengue fever and less frequently leptospirosis, and so an investigation was necessary. The ministry has promised additional updates as soon as they become available. Alison Kentish, HTS News Force.
Thank you very much, Alison. There was a story that I wanted to feature for you from the In the Paper segment, but it just slipped me, and I just want to go back to it, right? This is a story that comes from the New Today, and it had to do with the housing scheme residents to pay for sewer. Right, it says here that despite continued problems with the sewer systems at Grenada's largest government housing facility, occupants are being asked to pay for its maintenance. Right, it says that the announcement of that additional charge was made by NAWASA's General Manager Christopher Husbands at a meeting of residents recently. Now, it says that 2 years ago, the Housing Authority of Grenada, HAG, which manages the Mount Gay Housing Development, called in NAWASA when the malfunctioning sewer drew public protests. But the company's involvement has brought little change to what is being seen as a health hazard. The foul smell of sewer and constant overflow of the system continues, although NAWASA has engaged a team of laborers to maintain the system. Residents received letters Monday informing them that from April they will face the additional sewer charges, which is a third of their water consumption charge. Despite the new changes, there are no plans to change the system. That would be despite the new charges, there are no plans to change the system. According to Husbands, with residents paying for the sewer, NAWASA will now be better able to maintain it. And you can also always check out the New Today for that story and more. All right, folks, what else we have to tell all you? The next thing that we have for you, and I want to do that right now, is the hot list. All right, please call the number, people. 420-8226. That's the number to call. 420-8226. Garvin Maxey, please call the number. You're of Loreto, Guave. All right, St. John. Then we have Ayana Paul, Vendom, St. George. Papa, names come out from the list, boy. What the list getting smaller, boy. Ayana Paul, all right, Vendom, St. George. Theron Francis, Corinth. Laurie Dunbar, Tivoli. Kessia Strawn, Westerhall. Junior Fraser, Fontenoy. Donsha Lewis, Paraclete. We have as well Raymond Lewis, Mount Granby. Delroy Peters, Bolio. We have as well Augustine Philip, Mama Cans. We have Linus Charles, Latant, Omega Antoine, Molly St. David or Mondelez. We have Dean Braveboy, Frequente. Shakira Maxween, Frequente. Renisha Regis, Lamode or Molinaire. Urban George Sharp, Tibaid. Philip Batiste, Madigra. Dwayne Raj, Jerome Tempe. Christopher Beggs, Felix Park. Sherlan Ambrose, Gove, and Judy Filbert, Lamode, St. George. These are the names on your hot list. All right, guys. So if you know them, please ask them to call the number and so on. All right, folks, we are going to take a break and we will return shortly.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
It's a new year, so how about a new look? At Quartz Optical, we have the latest brand names and styles. Plus, get 20% off credit on 12 to 24 months. Instant credit approval while you are being tested. Get 15% off cash, so you can get that new frame to go into the new year. Only at Quartz Optical, the largest, fastest growing optical chain in the Caribbean. Special conditions apply.
Bruv.
Hello? I can't see you.
What's good?
But I can't even hear you.
Yo.
Hello? Hello? Ah.
Okay, I see. I'm good. I'm coming in.
Ah. There you are.
Live the experience right now. Enjoy high-quality video calling today. Stream, upload, and share with Digicel's super fast LTE network. Visit our stores today and live the experience today. Digicel. On Saturday, 6 April, the National Stadium comes alive with the grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. St. Andrew Big Parish Stores versus St. Mark Western Stores. And from 9 p.m., defending champion St. Patrick Crown City Strikers versus St. John Dolphins. Experience pure football, pure class. Then after the games, we move stateside for the top 3 artists in the International Groovy Monarch from Trinidad. Groovy King Swappy from St. Lucia with his man, Teddy John, and the Grenadian Golden Boy, Vaughn. Also featuring featuring the band Solid and Pappy Boy. Admission $25 main stand, $20 bleachers. The grand opening of the second annual Pure Grenada Cup. Get into the game.
Alrighty, folks, and what we have for you right now is the National Report.
Trade Minister begins outreach programs to create better working relationships with the business community. Details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the National Report for Friday, March 29th, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. The Ministry for Trade, Industry, Cooperatives and CARICOM Affairs has kicked off an outreach program, which Honorable Minister Oliver Joseph says is designed to respond to the concerns raised in the business environment. It began on Friday with a tour of businesses at the industrial park of the frequency-based Grenada Investment Development Corporation. The visit, the minister says, is to stimulate dialogue and forge a better working relationship with the business community.
We're going to visit the businesses located in this area to hear their concerns, to tell them what government plans are. So it's an interaction that the ministry plans starting here in this industrial park. I will be going right throughout the entire island, meeting with businesses. Based on this suggestion, we will develop a plan that will address some of the issues that they've raised. So really, when we hear the concerns and what they would want to see, the ministry will then sit down and put a plan together, send it back to them and call them to a consultation so that before the next budget in November. So we started early because we want to have a plan before the next budget. That's the target date, to visit all the businesses before November so that budget time we can report and what are the, or recommend this from them, what kind of support measures they need that could go into the budget.
Chief Executive Officer of the GIDC, Ronald Theodore, says at present there are 45 tenants within the Frequency Industrial Park.
The industrial parks continue to be a significant asset to GIDC. Located in this park, so we have the Frequency Industrial Park, the Simon Industrial Park, and St. Patrick's. I mentioned we have 45 tenants. This park is of 19 acres of land, right? And in terms of the buildings, the largest building we have is about 33,000 square feet of space. And in terms of the businesses, we have a wide range of businesses within the park, from manufacturing to the call center, BPO type operations, to storage, persons doing storage and so. So yes, the park continues to be on our major revenue basis, and we continue to maintain, for 2019, we want to continue to maintain the park to standard because it does contribute significantly to GIDC.
He is confident the outreach program will have a positive impact on the business environment.
It's good to collaborate. Working together works, right? GIDC is not in this alone. All the businesses that are in here, we want to make sure that they grow from strength to strength. So we want to make sure that these businesses become more export ready. And most of the assistance are provided by trade and so forth will augur well to those businesses in terms of making them become more export ready. And so we do see the outreach like this today as an important one, and we want to see more of this happening.
The businesses visited on the first leg of the outreach program included Spice Island Coffee, Longdon Windows, Arawak Island, St. Lou Metal and Nabela. Larry Carter, manager of Nabela, says the company, which began at the Simon Industrial Park, has been based at the Frequency Industrial Park for the past 15 years, during which time the GIDC and government gave tremendous support to their growth and development.
GIDC has played a very important role in the success of our business. I know we have a rep here, but I can say that they've supported us quite good. And I want to say that, yeah, they've actually given us a fair amount of support. I would like to say thanks to the Minister, Minister Joseph, for representing the government and for passing through the park, because I think this area is one of the areas that is key to the the manufacturing industry.
Colleagues, change is never easy. But as a people, as an intelligent people, we have to make risk assessments. We have to determine if we continue along the same path, would we get a different result or would we get a worse result? And we are confident that there must be changes to be made to NIS.
That was Trade Union Representative in the Senate, Andrea Lewis, speaking at Thursday's consultation on the National Insurance Scheme's Improvement and Sustainability Plan. It was announced during the consultation that the NIS contributions will increase by 2%, taking salary deductions from 9% to 11% to be split between the employer and the employee. Added to that, the age of retirement will gradually increase to 65. Senator Lewis believes this move has been long overdue and is happy to see the NIS taking the matter of sustainability more seriously. He implored upon the working class to see these new actions as necessary for the benefit of all.
Many times we take sort of individual positions and do not see what we put out as an investment. Some may require probably a change in age of retirement. Some may require a higher contribution, but see this as an investment in their future.
That was Trade Union Representative in the Upper House, Senator Andrea Lewis. This is the National Report. More news after the break.
After 4 weeks of preliminary qualifiers, after 4 zonal meets, it all comes down to this one incredible day of exciting track and field action. It's the National Secondary School Games Grand Finals. The Eastern, Western, Northern, and Southern zones will face off. Randy James Athletic Stadium, Friday, April 5th from 10 a.m. Excitement, tension, drama. The athletes will throw further, jump higher, and run faster. And inspirational halftime performances from Dash, Vaughn, and Mr. Killer. Witness poetry in motion, the fluidity of form and class. National Secondary School Games, the championship. Come feel the rhythm of the games.
Welcome back. The Business Support Center, presently being retrofitted on the lower floor of the pavilion at the Alston George Park in Victoria, is nearing completion. Youth Minister Honorable Keith Lewis visited the project on Friday to assess the progress of the work. Contractor Allington John explains the scope of work presently being carried out and stated his target date for completion is April 5th, 2019.
For the past 3 weeks, we've been going steady, trying to push this work further to get it everything's at this point in time. The work that already done, we change 4 windows, all them doors. We do some interior wall inside, some sheetrock inside. And right now we are at the stage of painting. All the electrical work almost done already. The AC is 95%. The light fixtures is 85%. We did some casting on the foundation of the walk to get to the building. And right now we're in the boiling stage to get this work done.
Minister Lewis is pleased with the progress of the work and says once in operation, the facility will be used to conduct training in varying areas to ensure young people with entrepreneurial interests can benefit holistically from the project.
What you would see there is a space for the manager, a consultant who will be there positioned to direct the training that will be taking place. We will have our receptionist secretary who will be there to welcome the persons who are interested and who are seeking information about their small business. We'll also have a conference room where we'll have training taking place, and also a kitchenette facilities for our small staff that will be here at the support center.
The youth minister says she is satisfied with the efforts of the contractor and his team and is looking forward to the launch by mid-April.
By mid-April, we should be able to launch our first business support center together with the rebranding of our GYEI business program into Youth Biz. We want to encourage more people to take part in entrepreneurial activities. We were existing under the Grenada Youth Enterprise Initiative, but we want to get out there more to the public. So as a result, we decided to rebrand Youth Biz, young, unique and talented youth interested in small business. And as a result of that, this is why we decide to be different. You'll see a new logo, new colors, something that is more appealing to young people to encourage them to get into entrepreneurial activities.
The Business Support Center will be catering for residents of St. John, St. Mark and St. Patrick. The fourth meeting of ministers and high-level authorities of social development wrapped up in Guatemala City, Guatemala. Grenada's ambassador to the U.S. and permanent representative to the OAS, Ms. Yolande Smith, attended the meeting in her capacity as chair of the Inter-American Council for Integral Development, CIDI. The meeting falls under the purview of the CIDI, and Grenada's Ministry of Social Development has prepared a presentation on the SEED program as part of the 7th plenary session under the theme, The Role of ICT as Tools to Eradicate Poverty. The meeting was scheduled to adopt the draft Inter-American Declaration on Social Development Priorities as well as the draft Plan of Action of Guatemala 2019. The Ministry of Social Development provided comments on the draft declaration, which was circulated to member states for comments during the drafting stage. Other CARICOM countries represented at the Guatemala meeting were Jamaica, Barbados, Suriname, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A number of regional and international agencies were also represented at the meeting, including Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, and the World Bank. The meeting was held under the theme Equity and Social Inclusion, Overcoming Multidimensional Poverty and Bridging Social Equity Gaps towards an Inter-American Agenda on Social Development. This brings us to the end of the National Report for Friday, March 29th. Recapping the top story. Trade Minister begins outreach program to create better working relationships with the business community. I am Sherry Ann Noel, thanking you for viewing.
From the beginning of time, water has been an ever-present part of our lives. Be it solid, liquid, or gas, this ever-changing, life-sustaining force hydrates, nourishes, connects, and each day, humans must consume quality water to survive, because we are water. Hidden within the lush vegetation of the Grenadian rainforest, a natural spring rose from the rock on the Ebenezer Estate in St. Patrick. 25 years ago, Dr. Ethelstan Filbert Friday, a scholar, surgeon, and son of the soil, stumbled upon this pure spring gushing from the side of a steep embankment. With a small, dedicated team, he scaled the tropical hills, and here, with grit and resilience, they captured and bottled purity. Refreshing, natural, pure. He saw no other choice but to share this resource, to supply the best of Grenada to the rest of Grenada. His vision flowed through the community of Mount Jewel, carrying with it mothers, brothers, sisters, and sons. With the mind to employ at least one person per household, Dr. Friday established the first locally owned treatment facility, Glenelg. For the families of Mount Jewel, this wasn't just bottled water. It was the chance to provide for, to transform and improve their present and their future lives. It was employment, education, empowerment. Every bottle captured the best of the breathtaking mountains, the refreshing spring, the company, the community, the people, the vision, quality, credible, water. His commitment then is our commitment now. Water you can trust. For 25 years, Glenelg has stayed true to this ideal. We've spent years repeatedly investing in safety and purity controls to ensure that Glenelg remains the highest quality water on the island. We've continuously refined our bottling and distribution process, automated our bottling line, and maintained rigorous daily testing to ensure that every bottle you drink is not only free from contaminants, but is equal to and surpasses international standards. A clean choice for a healthier, happier lifestyle, then, now, and in the future. What began at a remote community in St. Patrick has grown to touch communities, events, and lives across Grenada. From Carifta and Spice Mass to health walks and fundraisers, we are proud partners of companies, big and small, of schools, non-profits, and households. We are happy to have grown into a brand you can trust to stand beside you while you prepare for work, study, or life. We look forward to the next 25 years as water changes shape, form, and state. So too will we change and grow to meet the demands of our local and regional market. But our commitment to community, quality, and credibility remains the same. Just pure, premium water. The highest quality water for a healthy, hydrated life. Because we, Glenelg, are water.
Alrighty, folks, and yeah, we tell all you the program was going to be short, alright? And let's see what the generic weather is going to be like. I mean, you know, the generic information, in fact. Alright, so winds easterly to east-southeasterly at 14 to 24 miles per hour, gusting high at times. Seas moderate, waves 4 to 6 feet in open waters. The tides will be high 11:30 this evening, and your sun will rise tomorrow at 6:07 a.m. That's your weather report right there for you. Humidity 84%, precipitation 6%, and of course it feels like just around 27 degrees Celsius, and it's expected to go as low as 25 degrees Celsius. All right, so folks, that's it right there. And I want to big up some people on the program. Shireen, Deborah, Nika, Camille, we have Monica, Karen, Clotilda, Rolda, Asha, Angel, Khadija, Wayne, Colette. We have Peter King, Mary, Ezran, Sharon, Lisa, Dora, Peter, Asha. Who else is with us? I say Khadija already, and Nikki, right? Ala, Samira, Jane, Nika, Suzette is the boss. Ala is the boss. Wayne is the boss. All the boss and bosses is. Alright, good night, you guys, and Esther and everyone else, man. Big up to all the whole self, right? The loyal people, and those of you who viewing via WPG10, I wanted to know how much I appreciate you being on the program all the time. We're going to have another program for you on Monday, God's willing, and maybe I'll be live tonight. You never know. I have plans to go live tonight at around midnight because we have another event to show you. Alright, I ain't letting the cat out of the bag. Okay, guys, so yes, I should be back later on with some action at around midnight. The work never stops. Alright, and folks, God bless you. This is it for tonight for Mikey Live, and I say in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we all say ja. No. Good night, everyone.